podcast. Are you of the belief that no matter what, DeMar DeRozan is gone?
Oh, 100%. And I know it's from both sides too.
Yeah.
I think from both sides that needs to happen.
Well, but we have that's fair, but we also have a different. We also have there's different people in charge. Like, what if Scott Perry feels a certain way about DeMar DeRozan, and it's like, no. Maybe the two sit down and talk, and it's like, well, hang on a second. What if, and he constructs something that maybe is a little bit more to DeMar's, like, oh, okay, maybe I could see how that works.
Are we giving DeMar a contract extension? Or are we just, DeMar, you're here for a year, and then you got that half guarantee, whatever that last year is?
Are we giving a contract extension
I feel like
now?
I feel like bringing DeMar back would just be just a short-sighted move. I feel like given his contract status and where the team is, I don't see a way where, like, it makes sense to have him back, I guess. Especially at his point in his career. It's like you'd essentially just be bringing him back for 1 year, right?
Yeah. I mean, you can do something next offseason.
Well, and that's what I mean too. Not necessarily this have to be this offseason, but you'd be cool with DeMar being here for maybe 3 years, 3 more years.
Nah, I'd like to see, like, if DeMar is here, I'd just like to see how it goes next year.
I don't think he's here, though. I do not think he's here.
I don't think he is either. Scott Perry's not Monty McNair.
Oh, I understand that, but I also think Scott Perry has a different vision for what this team is than Monty McNair, and I think he's very accurate in those findings. I think he's going to be much more open-minded to being able to bring in guys that were what they need: long, athletic forwards, right? Something that they have been lacking for the past 3 years, and that's the key to their success, specifically against the Timberwolves of the world, right, or the Rockets of the world. When you look at DeMar, he's your only tradable asset on this team. The contract works. Clearly, it didn't work on the court with LaVine and Sabonis. You can say all you want how much they could work out this offseason. I just think it's the Chicago Bulls 2.0. I think with DeMar, he needs to go to a win-now team, a team that is one player away to making a solid playoff run. I think the Clippers are, quite honestly, the best fit, if you ask me. I know you're going to go into that with Matt, though.
No, we do. I love the Clippers are. I think there's a couple of really good fits. Intriguing. The Clippers are. What is? I think one of Matt's proposals was. Yeah, I know was Norm Powell.
And I'm good with that.
I'm great with that, but Norm Powell was really good for the Clippers last year. Maybe DeMar can be equally as good and fit like kind of a different need. It'll certainly be interesting. Like, who can get us a basket? We've got 3-point shooters. We got something. Who can go get us a bucket when we need one? And DeMar DeRozan can do that, whether it's Orlando or Houston or the Clippers. Like, DeMar can go get that bucket. But I'm still curious what that looks like. I think there were the Clippers, the Heat. Those were teams that were certainly interested in him when he signed with Sacramento last summer, but money was severely constricting those two teams, probably constricting DeMar's interest in them too.
Of course.
Sacramento was able to make the move with the San Antonio Spurs for Harrison Barnes, clear up a little space, sign him for a bigger contract. Now, none of that matters because now you're in a trade where salaries are involved. So if the Clippers want him bad enough, they can make it work. If Miami wants him bad enough, they can make it work.
Miami's in a different spot, though,
than they were last year.
Yeah, by far.
Because Jimmy's gone.
Jimmy's gone, and I think they're going to build differently around Bam and Tyler Hero.
I think that's another really interesting thing this year is what does Miami do to take the next step? Because it's not like Rouse is just going to go.
Pat Riley, he did a press conference the other day, end of season type of thing or whatever. He said like they're not rebuilding, and he said he wasn't above trading for an aging star too. I don't know if that star meant KD or whoever, but I don't think we're going to see a rebuild.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely
no rebuild.
Absolutely not. No chance.
I just don't think Miami's in the same position as they were last year.
I understand. I just don't think we know what position they're in.
Yeah, then that's what they're figuring
What is
out.
their approach with Bam?
Exactly.
Yeah, is it Bam and Tyler? Is it just
that's how
Bam?
he was talking.
That's what?
He was talking like, yeah, we're gonna move forward with Bam and Tyler, but it's Pat Riley. So
I mean, I
anyone's
don't
available.
like Tyler Hero's not bad.
Yeah, he's a good player, but they just need more.
They do need more.
You like the Clippers for him, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a lot of it, though, can be real with you. It's domino effects. Okay, so I think it starts this offseason with Boston and what they end up doing with that roster. And then I think it moves to what the Spurs and Rockets do in the KD sweepstakes and the Giannis sweepstakes, because I think Giannis is definitely leaving Milwaukee, and KD, of course, is definitely going to leave the Suns. I think everything after that is where you figure out, okay, what other dominoes are going to fall.
It starts with Giannis, though.
You don't think so? You think it starts with Giannis? You don't think it starts with, okay, well, how do the Celtics break this thing up?
Yeah. Can we acquire Giannis?
Okay, so
like that's how I
goes.
think it would
Okay.
start. Yeah,
so Giannis for okay.
Yeah, who can put together the compelling deal for Giannis, and then like if Boston falls out of that or doesn't partake in it, can't shed enough of that salary, can't do the. I don't even know how a trade for Giannis would work with the shape that the Celtics salary cap is in, but I think the next step for the Boston Celtics, whenever their season ends, will certainly be an interesting one to follow.
You better hope it's tomorrow night.
I think so, but I'm not 100% certain. I went into yesterday's. I said it yesterday. You weren't. I said it's like I think the Celtics will get one more. I want to see champions resolve from them, and they had it. They absolutely had it. Now, was that the big comeback before the Undertaker hits the tombstone and the match ends anyways? Or does this really prolong the series? And I'm not sure about that one yet.
Both teams are going to have to answer their own questions, because Knicks have not won a series in MSG since 2000. Haven't advanced to the Eastern Conference Finals, I think.
Okay, so question is the game tomorrow night on ESPN or TNT?
ESPN. I've seen the stat, by the way.
Yeah. Okay, you know where we're going with that.
Okay, for those who haven't.
I believe the Knicks are, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I know it's one or the other. The Knicks are like 7-1 on TNT or something like that. They're 0-8 on ESPN.
No, it's 1-8 now.
1-8.
Because they beat the Celtics in game 4.
Tomorrow's game is on ESPN. Oh, yeah, it's Friday night. Yeah.
So I guess Knicks fans it's on ESPN, so they're worried.
Interesting.
Getting back, by the way, to after Giannis and then KD, I think it's after that. You have to also see what the Warriors do as well.
Yeah,
I think that's all part of it as well with Kuminga, because I think Kuminga could be an option here in Sacramento. I hate to say it. I don't know how that happens in terms of moving salary and everything like that. But if you're the Kings, like Kuminga is definitely someone who should be on your radar. He fits everything that you need.
You're 100% right, but it all goes back to Giannis.
Yes,
because Kuminga
could be shipped.
That's right. And that's a sign and trade situation, because you want to keep Draymond, you want to keep Jimmy, you want to keep Steph, obviously. And you probably want to keep their whole starting lineup. I'll explain why in a second. Let's talk to Leezy here for a heartbeat, 916-909-1320. What's up, Leezy?
Yo, what's up, D-Lo? What's up, Jake?
Yo, what's up, Leezy? Thanks for the text, my guy. You good people. Really good people.
Of course, kinfolk. Hey, I had to look out for my boy Jake. I heard you on the show. I got excited, man. I was happy to see it. Hey, Jake, question, man. You've been with Kings for a minute now. What do you think about the difference between Monty McNair and Scott Perry so far? And there's been reports out there that the Kings have met with Jeremiah Fears. Is that true? I want to ask a broadcast journalist such as yourself.
So I've heard nothing on Fears at all.
Mm-hmm.
Can I be real with you, Lazy? There's no resume for Scott Perry yet. He hasn't made a move yet. I think last week.
And you weren't here the first time.
I wasn't here. Was not here. But I think James Ham put it out really well the other day on the Insiders. He said, now that this Kevin Huerter deal is technically done, it gives you, Scott, an idea of, okay, now I have all my chips in front of me. Where do I go from here? That's what I'm intrigued by with Scott. You have a lot of options. Unlike with Monty didn't have a ton of options for the past 2 years in terms of draft picks, draft capital, and what you wanted to do with it. Of course, the first round pick last year with Devin Carter was probably the biggest trade acquisition that he had. Same with Harrison Barnes and Kevin Huerter's contract. I just don't think I've not seen Scott do anything yet, so I can't compare the two. I think your resume speaks for itself. The moves that you make speak for yourselves. I understand that Scott is much more well-connected or well respected within the league than Monty. And he's a true general manager, a true number one. But what does that look like? I'm waiting to see. Now I've seen what he did with the Knicks, and he doesn't get enough credit for what New York is now. I'll be
Sure.
honest with you on that. But Leezy, give me to like September,
Yeah.
and I'll have a better idea.
Yeah.
At this point, one's an extrovert, one's an introvert. There you go.
That's
Straight up.
big difference.
One will do a press conference, one won't.
One will win a press conference. The other one will put you to sleep.
Yes.
We'll let you determine which one is which. He also has an interesting offseason to navigate because he doesn't have a first round pick. And that's one of those, there's tentpole moments for fans, not just Kings fans, but fans in general. The draft is one of them. The start of the new league year in free agency, that's another one. And then the trade deadline is the third. You hang your hat on those moments because we get really excited about the prospect of change. Change is really exciting because it's unknown. And he kind of just has to skip one. I mean, you can go into the second round, and if you got a great staff, you got a great, department, you could land a second round pick that's meaningful to you. But there's a lot of impactful players that are probably going to be taken in the first round, and the Sacramento Kings aren't going to be a part of that. So, you got your team working on that on the second round and what that might look like, and then you got the start of the new league year. Then you got free agency. You've got the DeMar DeRozan situation, and I would think you're probably fielding. You're listening. You're answering the phone.
Okay, I want to say
when someone calls about Domantas Sabonis or Malik or Keegan or literally anyone else on your roster.
So there's no untouchables on the
Absolutely
roster.
Not.
Everybody,
Not a single one.
Okay.
Nope, not a single one. If De'Aaron Fox can be traded, everyone on the roster can be traded. And that includes Domas. It includes Malik. It includes all of the guys you like. It includes Keegan. Now, you've got to prioritize things, too, if you're Scott Perry. What's important to us right now? Okay, I think we can build around Domantas Sabonis in a, James always says you got to surround the right guys around him. Okay. Perfect. What's that look like? Is it even feasible? And then how does that change what you do next? Because, okay, here's what we need to do. James says, we need a long, 5 who can shoot. Great. Or a long 4 who can shoot. Great. Is that feasible? Attainable? No? Okay, so then what? You just keep marching him out there with the same deficient lineup? Or do you look to move on from him and find someone else who can fill that position who, this is going to come across as shade, but someone who's not so needy? Can you just put someone at the 5 position, get players who might be better at other positions, and build your team completely differently? These are all questions Scott Perry's going to have to answer in some way, shape, or form over the next handful of months.
Do you think you already have the starting center, though, on the roster? Like, if you trade Domas...
You're referring to Valanciunas?
He's a serviceable center.
He's more than serviceable. Like, he's more than serviceable. We talked about this when he was signed. He's the starting center in the NBA.
That's what I was going to say. So for Domas, you don't have to go get another center if you're going to trade him.
You don't.
That's what I'm saying.
You can focus on a 4 or a 3 or
4 or 3, which where the league's going.
1.
That's the number one thing of the offseason. That's why when you look at DeMar or Domas, if you trade DeMar, right, and you want to go try to get an athletic wing or you try to get a guard, I think the athletic wing is probably a better situation because it's hard to go guard for guard. And then when you look for Domas, I would say maybe then you look for an all-star point guard. Now, would Domas be good enough for Trae Young? I don't know if I like that.
For who? Sacramento or Atlanta?
For Atlanta.
Go ahead, Jess.
I was gonna say, if it was for Sacramento, I don't think I hate it.
No, I don't hate Trae here, but I don't think for Atlanta, like what makes you want to do that?
What is I guess Atlanta, like, what is your direction at that point?
Yeah,
exactly.
Atlanta feels directionless. Like, to me, if they move Trae, and I do think it's feasible that they do, if they move Trae, they're probably not moving him for someone like Domas.
Yeah.
They're moving him for contracts that are quickly expiring And like if Zach LaVine's contract expired after next year, I could see that deal being done and multiple first-round picks. They're gonna because they move trade, and it's not. I don't believe in this process, by the way. But if you're moving on from Trey, your team has no direction with or without Trey. So if you started to pick apart that team over the next 2 years and acquire 3 to 6 draft picks for the different guys that you have, okay, you're starting over. That's your direction, is starting over. I could see them doing that. I can't see them going, okay, we're acquiring another $40 or $50 million player, and that's who we're building around, or we're going to use this as some catalyst to something. I don't see that being a thing. Like Atlanta has nothing. Like they don't have, like, I know it feels like we're directionless. They feel just as directionless as we do, except worse.
Because
So
they have no future. Like what's the rookie that they drafted? Rashashir?
Ricochet.
Who out of all the rookies this year, do you think he
It was a tough lottery to win.
Yes.
That was a tough lottery.
That was the other thing about the lottery. The draft is so good this year. It's so deep.
Yeah.
There could be that's the only good thing about the saving grace in the second round. You could have someone there.
Yeah, you could, but the Kings need impactful players, and maybe a second round pick can be impactful. I don't know that they're necessarily going to be impactful their first year, but could they be impactful over time? Yeah, absolutely. You want to get that right, though. You don't want a Robert Woodard or a Jamias Ramsey. You don't want any of that. You need someone like essentially you need Keon. Except you need to know that he's Keon right away. You need that, meaning he can be an impactful player right away. But it's just there's just so many questions as it pertains to Sacramento. And going back to how this whole conversation started, does it all start with DeMar? And I see who was it? Tyler? Yeah, Tyler said Kings trading DeMar to get into the first. I don't know that DeMar nets you a first.
No, he doesn't. I'd also say I think
especially in this draft.
And I think with DeMar, I think you're gonna have to tack on a first round pick if you want something significant back.
Oh, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Nah, DeMar's no, because I think there are teams that could use DeMar, and his contract's not egregious at all.
No, it's a good contract.
DeMar, DeMar didn't decline last year. DeMar's Hall of Fame career has been Hall of Fame steady his entire career. It rarely even fluctuates. It's just 20, 21, 22, 21, 22, 20, 21, 22. That's what he does year after year after year. Now, Kings fans, you might not like the way he did it.
Bingo.
But the fact is he did it. There's a team out there that's going to see, whether it's Houston, whether it's LA, whether it's Orlando, whatever. They're going to see that going, actually, we need someone who can do that. Houston didn't have a go-to bucket getter.
No,
they didn't have. They were so clearly deficient in their series against Golden State. Like, you needed someone who could go score for you. The Warriors didn't even have to score a ton of points to beat them. Two very good defensive teams, but the Warriors didn't have to score a ton of points to get through that. And having a guy like DeMar, I'm not saying it would have made a difference in the series, but it absolutely would have helped them.
Agreed.
It absolutely would have helped Houston.